So in this video, I'm hoping to show you something that my current car camping setup lacks, and that is security. When I'm on a car camp, due to all the blackouts I have on all the windows and the blackout curtain I have in the middle of the car, there tends to be no light bleed and nobody on the outside would know I'm inside. But with this, it means I can't easily see outside without turning all my lights off and removing the blackouts. But that can be quite annoying. So if I ever hear strange noises at night time, I tend to just turn the lights off, stay quiet, and wait for it to pass. And on other channels, that's probably where you'll see this. Can you hear that noise? It's outside. Now, the one thing I've always wanted to be able to do on a car camp is to see outside when I'm inside. And over the years, I've tried our old Wi-Fi camera we used to have outside our front door, but that wouldn't work because it needed to be connected to an actual Wi-Fi network. But then I tried one of these from Amazon as well, and to be honest, it was absolutely rubbish. So I pretty much gave up after that, until the lovely folk at VIOFO offered me a Dashcam. Now, before I tell you why I said yes and us testing that, first of all, I need to learn how to hardwire a Dashcam. And if you're like me and you didn't know what hardwiring a Dashcam meant, basically it means connecting the Dashcam to the fuse box in your car. The function I want to use won't work on a 12-volt setup. It has to be hardwired. Now, I've been having to do quite a lot of research for this video because I had to learn how to hardwire a Dashcam. And if there's one thing that all the videos I've watched have in common, the person doing it, they're really confident. They know exactly what they're doing. They're telling you how to do it, and you feel happy that, yeah, you're seeing how it's done properly. Now, I am not that person. I suck at DIY, and I try not to do DIY unless I absolutely have to. And to be completely honest, I even changed my mind about doing this video because of the fact I had to hardwire it. But VIOFO came back and said, no, give it a go. We believe in you. You can do it. We have faith in you. So here we are, giving it a go. Now, before we start, I suppose I should show you everything that VIOFO have actually sent me. So what we have the VS1 tiny 2K Dashcam. We have the Hardwire kit. We have a little Bluetooth control. We have these. Now, these are wiretaps, and I will explain what these are very shortly. And then we have these. Now, you would have seen these on my Temu vid, and they're basically wire clips that I bought in case I need them. The first thing I need to do is to work out if this wire is even long enough to get from the back fuse box to the front of the car. Now, I was hoping to, well, I was thinking I could run it through here all the way to the top, but you can't actually get to it under here, I don't think. Not easily anyway. So I think I'm going to initially try just doing it along the floor. Tried running it along the bottom of the car all the way to the front, but as you can see, the wire is too short and the Dashcam would have to sit on the top left, and that's not right really. You want it in the center. So I then tried diverting it behind the passenger seat and through the central console, and as you can see, now the wire does reach the right spot. And what I'm going to do in due course is see if I can find a better way of wiring it in. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to show you how to do it, and more to the point, I want the Dashcam up and working. So these are the three wires that you have on the end of the Hardwire kit. You have the accessory wire, you have the battery wire, and you have the ground wire. But what we need to do using the multimeter is to work out which fuses have power going to it when the engine is off, and that is where we will put the battery one. You can quite easily test whether or not these fuses are live by looking at this. As you can see, that one is not live. Likewise, that one has no charge. What we need to do is to turn the engine on, retest those two fuses, and if there's still no charge, then we know they're not a real fuse anyway. Well, that's the ignition on. Let's test these two again. No. Well, what we know is these three fuses they're not actual fuses. Okay, so that's cool. So what we need to do now is to work out which fuse we can tap. Well, from when I shot that last bit until now, a number of hours has passed, because you know how I said I'm rubbish at DIY? Well, what I managed to do was to break the central locking. Now, I didn't film any of this fun experience, mainly because you would have seen me doing this, because I couldn't lock the boot, I couldn't lock the back doors, because all this runs on the central locking only. I could only lock the driver's side. And all I could think about whilst frantically Googling fixes was how much it would cost for me to get someone to fix it. Now, dependent on your fuses in your car, you may or may not need one of these, a fuse tap. Now, what a fuse tap does, you put it into an existing fuse slot, and then that's how you can power the dash cam. Now, you have two of these because you need two fuses to hardwire the dash cam. In my research, what I'd found on the Halfords website actually is that if you are doing a fuse tap, then make sure you choose a fuse that comes from a relatively unimportant part of the car. So, for example, don't use central locking, don't use engine electronics, don't use anything important. Instead, try to find a fuse that has a pretty mundane purpose, say like the rear wipers or the front wipers, stuff where it doesn't matter if you break it like I just did. Now, in case you're wanting to know how I managed to fix the central locking, it actually was as simple in the end as disconnecting the battery at the front of the car. But back to a problem I think I have found with these fuse taps. Basically, the problem is this part here. Because of how the fuse board works on the Zafira, that little thing there means I can't actually use the fuse tap because there's something always in the way of that bit. So I'm going to have another look now at the fuses and work out if I can find one that I can safely use first. Now, the problem I'm having, and I don't know if I've bought the wrong thing or not, but I can't find any fuse that is emitting any charge, even when the key is turned to accessory and when the key is off. So I'm going to end now. I'm going to go inside and have some food, and the next time you see me will be me having figured out, was this right or wrong? And I did warn you I was rubbish at doing this, but hey, that's what makes it more realistic, I think. I have a new cup of coffee, a change of jumper, and more importantly, an Amazon delivery. So what we've bought is a voltage tester, and the difference with this is when it picks up a current, that little LED lights up. Let's do the same test we were doing yesterday. Ah, look at that. Now, this is also interesting because what we need to do later on is to work out which side of these is live. Well, it's certainly true what they say about having the right tools for the job, and now we know that all of those empty fuse slots are actually real fuse slots, and all of them are battery powered. So we know we can put the fuse tap into those ones. And the good thing about these slots is that there's nothing in the way of the fuse tap. So we can whack that in like that, take this, make sure it's working, and ta-da! Well, now we've figured out which fuse socket is powered by the battery, we now need to work out which one is powered when it is in accessory mode. So now we're looking for a fuse where this doesn't light up when we put it in. No light in there. What we need to do now is put the engine into accessory mode and see if that one lights up. Accessory mode on. Let's test. Ah, damn it, it's not a real fuse. Okay, now I had tested this one as well. Okay, right. So now we have a light there. I'm pretty sure that wasn't there a minute ago. So let's turn the engine off and let's test that again. Sorted. And the very last thing we need to do now for the wiring is to ground it. Now you have to use something that's on the car already. Well, there's one last thing to show you on this Hardwire lead, and that is this little box here. So what this little box is, it's basically the car battery cutoff. So when the dash cam is doing this secret mode, which I'm just about to tell you what it is, it basically makes sure you don't drain the car battery. But we are now officially ready to plug this into the dash cam in the back to see if it actually works. Well, if you haven't guessed it already, the function that this dash cam has, and the reason why I said yes to it, is that it has a parking mode. So basically that means anytime somebody walks past the front of the car, the video will start recording. But that in itself isn't the reason why I said yes to the item. Through the VIOFO app, you can actually access the camera to see what's going on outside, even if it's not been activated. And that to me will make such a massive change to my nighttime security. Obviously the car has to be pointing forward and I don't have a back cam, but at least I can see out the front. And this is what's inside the package. The only thing you can't see is the micro 32GB SD card, which I've put in already. But as you can see, it's only a little palm-sized dash cam, so it's quite nifty. Otherwise, you just have your 12-volt cigarette lighter cable. Obviously, we won't be needing this. You have a USB-C cable. I don't know why we need this for. Oh, actually, I think that's to connect it to the computer, if you want to. You have this tool. Now, this tool is so you can put the wiring into the car like that. Now, clearly, we're not using this, but useful to have anyway. And the only other thing you get are these little pieces of plastic. Now what you need these for is you put that on the windscreen and then you attach that to the windscreen. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's plug it in. Well, it hasn't turned on. Now I'm not immediately worried, but what I'm going to do is just quickly put the car into accessory mode, and hopefully while I'm gone this will turn on. And clearly that hasn't worked, so let me figure out why that hasn't worked. So the problem I have is actually what I mentioned yesterday. The fact that you have these bits means you can't actually get it in to these fuse sockets. Now that fuse socket there is literally the only one that I can use, and whilst I can get the fuse tap in that way round, it has to be this way round because that's the one that's positive, and I think that's why it's not working. So I need to figure this one out. I think I need to go back online and see if I can find something else that will fit it, because as far as I can see that's the only reason why it isn't working. So back to the drawing board. Well, it's now day 3. I scoured Amazon last night to try and find basically a fuse extension lead, and eventually I did. So with this, I should be able to connect that into the fuse, put the dash cam end into this, and then that should be it. And we finally have power going to that fuse. So what I need to do now is take the fuse taps, crimp the wires on properly, set it all up, and then we should be in business. Well, that's everything wired in, turned on. This is the test. Will it turn on? Yes!
Recording started. Wi-Fi enabled.
Right, okay. Now, when I turn the accessory key off, this should then go into parking mode.
Parking recording started.
And with that, it may have taken me 3 days, 2 extra orders from Amazon, but we have a hard-wired dash cam. Well, as I said yesterday, the plan isn't to run the wire perfectly excellent initially. I just want to get it up front so we can actually test the dash cam. And that's exactly what we need to do now. We need to see what that little plastic thing is and how we install it. Okay, it's just quite easy. You peel off this side, stick it on, and then peel off that side. Back it up there behind that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug the dash cam in, connect it to the app, and then we can work out by looking through the camera where the best place to position it is. As you can see by looking at the settings on the app, there are loads of different things you can change. There is parking motion detection and parking G sensor. Now I don't know what the difference between those are, but I did know I wanted to put the parking motion detection on low, mainly because I don't want it going off all the time when it's parked at home. Okay, so let's get this dash cam stuck up, then we're pretty much in business. So all you have in the wireless Bluetooth box is little wireless Bluetooth device and a battery. You simply stick that down. I'm guessing you're going to want that there. All you do to pair it, now I've just done it so I can't show you, you press and hold this button for 3 seconds, it pairs, and then to show you what it does, imagine you're driving, la 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 la, oh my god, there's been a crash, gotta press it.
Video protected.
There you go. So that's the point of that. It will save a loop basically. So if there's a crash or an accident, whack that and it will save it instantly. Well, do you want to know something really funny? After 3 days of wiring this in, I think VIOFO might have got it wrong, and the dash cam actually can't be accessed when it's in parking mode. It will record in parking mode, but you can't actually access the camera. Now, strictly speaking, the answer was kind of true. You can access it through the app, but the engine has to be on accessory mode for you to be able to access the live view. So my whole master plan of having this for car camping security is annoyingly scuppered. So if nothing else, I've shown you in this video how to make a pig's ear out of hardwiring a dash cam. Well, I'm really pleased to say I was wrong. I was just about to go inside all dejected at the fact this whole video has been a bit pointless and that I don't have what I thought I had, when actually I dropped something on the floor, the parking sensor activated, it started recording, the Wi-Fi went on, and the app was connected automatically. So that's the answer. Basically, you can't look willy-nilly outside of what's going on, but if the parking sensor is activated, then you can see what's going on. On that note, now I'm a lot more happier with this setup. Basically, we're going to go indoors, and then tomorrow for our day 4 special, I will take you for a drive with the dash cam and you can see what it's like when we're outside. Well, it's now day 4, and what I did off camera last night was 2 things. I actually put the wire in properly into here, and I also realized that where I've placed the camera, I need to move it, because the problem is it's so high up that if it rains on the outside, when the windscreen wipers go, it doesn't clear the part where the camera is. So I'm going to move that down now. And that's the point of that plastic static film. It basically means you can move the dash cam even though it's stuck on, because the plastic just comes off and you can reposition it and it sticks back again. Well, if there's one thing I promised you from the very start, it is the fact that I suck at DIY. So I've just gone to go shopping, I finished work, start the car up, and this happened. Yep, and then this happened. By changing the settings on the sensitivity of the parking mode to medium, car battery's dead. And that's a new car battery, so I know it's not the car battery that's at fault. It's more than likely going to be my wiring than it is the cable, but either way, it hasn't cut off. My battery is dead, and needless to say, I have pulled the entire Hardwire cable. So yeah, the Hardwire kit has gone. Clearly I can still use the dash cam. I can put it in the cigarette lighter, so that is good at least, because I haven't got a dash cam and there are times when stupid things happen, so it will be super cool to actually have something to record. It's just a shame I can't use it for why I wanted to use it. But if you've got any ideas for what I can use for a kind of camera for my car camping security, then let me know, because yeah, I would still like something. It's the one thing that I think my setup needs. It's just something front facing, so at least I can see what's going on. So yes, in the meantime, I'm going to let this carry on charging up. Then I'm going to head down the shop. So what I'll do to play you out, you'll actually see some footage of the camera driving down the road, so you can finally see what the quality is actually like. So until next time, take care. Well, I know this dash cam has a microphone, so this is me testing how good that microphone is. The picture quality I think is quite good. I was looking at it last night and I was quite impressed with it, to be honest. And I like the fact on the bottom corner you've got your miles per hour and actually your exact location, which when you look on the app, that's linked to Google Maps, so it's quite cool. And importantly, the wireless Bluetooth thingy does work.
Video protected.
So the moral of the story, if you want to hardwire your own dash cam and you suck at DIY, then maybe pay Halfords the £50 to do it, because at least that way you know it's gonna work and you won't drain your battery.